This video focuses on visible progress and specifically on conducting regular and appropriate reviews against lesson objectives. Lesson objectives are written using the all, most, some structure to ensure differentiation and high levels of challenge. In order to make progress explicit to the students, progress against these lesson objectives should be reviewed at key points in the lesson. Checking student progress at key points also allows the teacher to have a greater understanding of student progress and to identify misconceptions or students who need further support or challenge. To implement this strategy effectively, the first step is to make sure the lesson objectives have been clearly explained to the class, as shown in the following video.
Lesson objectives are on the board. So we are thinking about Mr. Birling as a character and how he is presented. You've now got 5 extracts in your book, okay? So the first thing that you're going to do is read a range of extracts, all 5 of them, and select and identify key quotations to do with Mr. Birling as a character. Once you've done that, you're using your own words to explain how Mr. Birling is presented in those quotations. So once you've selected them, you're going to tell me why you selected them. And then once you've done that, you're zooming in on individual words and techniques and telling me what their effect is. The reason that we're doing that is these are things that you would need to do in the exam for your extract response in the same way that you would for a Vice and Method.
As demonstrated by the PowerPoint slide, opportunities to deliberately stop and refer back to the lesson objectives are built into the lesson plan. As shown in the following video, the teacher then asks questions to check the students have made progress against that lesson objective. When checking for progress, it is also important to explain what steps students will take to achieve the next lesson objective, and this is demonstrated in the second video.
Now be in a position where you have achieved your first lesson objective. I'm going to check that that is the case. So, Edwin, can you give me a quote that you selected, please? Okay, so you selected there, haven't you, a key quotation. That's that first lesson objective. Brilliant. Edie, a quotation that you've selected and highlighted, please. Okay, so then we need to think about why we think that's a key quotation. Why is that an important quotation? Why is it, please?
Because it just shows about his personality.
Okay, what about his personality does it show?
How he thinks he's like that.
Yeah, this idea that he's lecturing Eric, isn't it? It's quite important. Ezra, a quotation that you've highlighted, please.
You've a lot to learn, yeah?
Okay, so why do you think that's important? Why are you saying it's a key quotation?
Because it shows like his personality.
Okay, so we know then that we've now got our relevant quotations. So we've achieved our first lesson objective. We've just spent some time, haven't you, taking those quotations and annotating them in your own words. Okay, Ezra, can you tell me a quote that you've selected?
You've a lot to learn, yeah?
Okay, what annotation have you put next to it?
It shows that he's big-headed, he acts very wise, and it's like confident and future.
Lovely. Lily, one that you've selected and what you annotated with it, please? Okay, so how do you know that you and Ezra have achieved that lesson objective of explaining that quotation? And whose words have you used? And then to annotate it, whose words have you used? Yes, so because you've used your own, I'm just coming back to this lesson objective there, that shows that you've made progress. If you're sitting there and your annotations look like Lily or Ezra's, then you know that you've achieved that lesson objective as well at the same time. So the next thing that we're going to move on to do is starting to zoom in on individual words. So taking those quotations, circling individual words and developing the detail of your analysis in the same way that you would do in an extract.
Reviewing progress against lesson objectives regularly has several benefits. For teachers, it ensures high levels of challenge in the lesson, as all students are aiming to meet the sum lesson objective. It also gives teachers a greater understanding of student progress, which can inform future lesson planning. For students, reviewing their progress against the lesson objectives will give them a greater understanding of what progress they have made and what they need to do to make further progress. It also allows links to prior learning, exam skills, and the big picture of the learning journey to be made more explicitly. Follow the steps below to implement this strategy in your lessons. Firstly, make sure your lesson objectives are specific and measurable. Using Bloom's taxonomy language is a helpful place to start. Make sure your lesson objectives build in difficulty and that you have provided scaffolding to support all students to achieve the sum lesson objective. Then decide key points in your lesson where you will pause to check progress and how you are going to do this. If you are asking questions, decide who you will ask and how you will use these questions to make all students aware of their progress. Aim to vary who you ask questions to, so you hear from as many people as possible. So strategies such as cold calling or pose, pause, pounce, bounce may be useful to do here. And then have contingency plans for a student or students who have not made the progress that you have expected them to.